Hi, and we're back to read chapter 2 of Mango Delight. I just have to say, I wrote the book for Caswell Hyman, and the cover art is by the great artist Frank Morrison. He did the cover for book 1 and for book 2, Summer in the City. Okay, when we last left, Mango had won the race at track practice, and chapter 2, Girls on Track. I threw my fist in the air, leapt off the ground, and yelled. I turned to look for Brooke, who I knew would be running to hug me and congratulate me, but I was wrong. Brooke was walking away. She swiped her towel off a bench and headed for the locker room. Weird to the extreme. I was about to run after her when Hateful Joe came up and gave me a high five. "Good job, Mango," she said. "You were flying." This surprising acknowledgement triggered the rest of the cell bells to do the same. I have to admit, the unexpected props and attention felt really, really good. Brooke was already dressed by the time I made it to the locker room, and things got really suspect on our walk home. Brooke was unusually quiet. She limped on and off, saying she must have pulled her hamstring doing Frankenstein kicks during warm up. That's why she hadn't run her best during the 400 meter. It put a little ding in how great I felt about winning, but she was probably telling the truth. I mean, I had never beat her or Haley Joanne before. I explained about how I was hearing Destiny's Child Survivor in my head while I was running, but Brooke said, "Seriously, Mango, that's silly. Songs don't make you run faster. Hateful Joe and I were just having an off day, that's all." I got quiet on the rest of the walk home, but that didn't stop me from noticing how Brooke's limp would come and go as we made our way down the tree-lined streets of her neighborhood. I was going to make a joke about it, but decided against it. I made a crack about Hateful Joe and her apps for SAPS coach, but Brooke didn't even pretend to laugh or smile. When we got to her house, I said, "I'll wait here while you ask your mom." "Ask my mom what?" "If you can come over and have dinner at my house." Brooke kind of squinted at me, flipped her hair, and said, No, I can't. My leg hurts. It really hurts. I might have to go get it checked out, so bye." Brooke and I had this silly hand jive thing we do when we reach her house, which is 8 long blocks before the apartment building I lived in. Our moves consisted of 4 patty cake claps, 2 snaps, a double shoulder bump, air kisses on each cheek, and a rib tickle on each other's left side. But that afternoon, Brooke just turned abruptly and jogged to her front door, her limp and our hand jive routine completely forgotten. As I walked down Brooke's block, which was shaded by huge jacaranda trees, I began to wonder if I had done something wrong to make Brooke act the way she had. Could it be that my bestie was jealous because I won the race? To get to my neighborhood, I had to cross Martin Luther King Boulevard, the widest, busiest street in town. It separated Brooks's community, which had only single-family homes, from mine, where people lived in two-family brownstones or apartment buildings. The trees on my block were scrawny, planted in dusty squares at the curb of the sidewalk and braced with sticks and wire to keep them upright. The one in front of my building was the scrawniest of all, probably because it was the first pit stop for all the dogs in our apartment building when they went for a walk. As the elevator glumphed to a stop on my floor, groaning as the door slid into its pocket, I tried to shake the idea of Brooke being jealous from my head. Brooke was just having a bad day. Everybody has bad days, and everybody has the right to be cranky now and then. I mean, hello. I had my cranky days too. I was sure that when I called Brooke after my dinner and homework were finished, everything would be back to normal. On school nights, we'd always hang out on the phone, watching our favorite TV shows together and gabbing for at least an hour or two. Imagining that I was to blame for Brooke's bad mood was giving my little once in a lifetime got win way too much credit. Mom was in the middle of her muscle torture workout when I walked into our apartment. She doesn't like to be interrupted when she's working out, but I couldn't resist. Mom, guess what? What? She gasped between sit-ups. I won the 400-meter sprint this afternoon. Mom stopped mid-sit-up and turned to look at me. You won? Yup. As surprised as she looked, I was even more surprised when she paused the exercise DVD, opened her arms to give me a hug. Baby, I'm so proud of you. I told you you was just as good as those other girls. Well, it was only once. Don't give me that. You did it once, you can do it again. Start a trend. Believe and achieve. I laughed. She reached for the remote, saying, let me get back to this before I cool down. Want to join me, champ? No way. I don't want to know why you put yourself through this torture anyway. I have to get back in shape. Dada said he likes you thicker, I said, giggling about the way Dada flirted with Mom when she refused an extra helping of rice and peas or dessert. Mom blushed. Oh, please, don't pay him no mind. If I don't get rid of this baby weight, my leg will never fit right again. Right on cue. Ah! The toddler alarm came blasting on. Jasper, my baby brother, was awake. Mom sighed and started to get up from the floor. I stopped her. Go back to your torture. I'll get him. I spent the rest of the afternoon playing with the cuddliest, most fuzzy-wuzzy Winnie-the-Pooh-looking baby brother on the planet. I took him for a long walk in his stroller while Mom did laundry. After dinner, I washed the dishes, did my homework, math, science, social studies, and read 2 chapters from my book about Anne Frank. I had a report on Anne Frank due in a few weeks, and I was right on track with finishing the book. I even left myself enough time to write a first draft and rewrite it to polish it before handing it in. About 5 minutes before our favorite sitcom Cupcakers came on, I dialed Brooke's number and settled in for a nice long chat. Her mother, Mrs. Minnelli, answered and said, Brooklyn's not home tonight. Her father drove her to the mall to do some shopping. Really? Brooke didn't say anything to me about shopping with Mr. Minnelli. Well, a Brooklyn. Mrs. Minnelli really stressed her daughter's full name to let me know she disapproved of my chopping it in half. Doesn't tell everyone every little detail about her life plans, and neither should you, Mango. Before I could apologize or even pretend it was nice speaking with her, Mrs. Minnelli cut me off with a swift, I'll let Brooklyn know you called, and hung up. By the next morning, I forgot all about the tension between Brooke and me. It was a beautiful day, made even more gorgeous by the jacarandas on Brooks' street, which were in full bloom with their lavender flowers. When a breeze blew, the blossoms floated down from the trees. It was like I was walking through a lavender snowstorm. When I walked up the path to Brooks's door, I didn't even have time to ring the bell and wait the usual 5 minutes before she joined me. The door flew open immediately, and Brooke shouted, Guess what? You'll never guess, but guess what? What? I squealed because her excitement was like a super flu, contagious. Brooke turned her back to me, reached into her pocket, and turned back, holding it in the palm of her hand. Ta-da! I got a cell phone! And that was the beginning of the end of our forever friendship. See you back here for chapter 3.